Good afternoon and welcome to Upton Park, and here come the two sides. West Ham United in their famous claret and blue, and Wrexham in their change strip this afternoon with the white shirts and the black shorts. The referee comes from Yorkshire. He's Stephen Lodge from Barnsley, one of the regular Premier League officials. And there's a feeling of deja vu about this fixture. It's only 5 years since Brian Flynn brought Wrexham to Upton Park on the corresponding weekend. That was the year, of course, in which Wrexham had caused one of the greatest cup upsets of all time by defeating the mighty Arsenal by 2-1. Famous names like Mickey Thomas and Steve Watkin, and Steve Watkin is actually one of the survivors from that day who's here with Wrexham this afternoon. Julian Dix there, and Ian Bishop know all about cup giant killings this season. They went down to Stockport County in the Coca-Cola Cup. Now Andy Marriott's going to be a busy man. He's not the club's record signing, as some believe. That honour still held by Joey Jones, perhaps the most famous Wrexham player of all time, at £210,000. But Andy Marriott, since his £200,000 move from Nottingham Forest, has not missed a game, and we're going back now to October 1993. Well, conditions perfect. Unlike the night when Wrexham supporters first made this journey down here. There were 3,000 of them, but as a real gesture of goodwill, the coach companies have donated the travel for free today. And so a lot of Wrexham fans here at Upton Park, and they'll be making a lot of noise as we kick off with Wrexham playing from right to left. And immediately the ball is hoisted up there towards Carl Connolly, who tries to keep it in play and succeeds in doing so at the expense of a throw-in for the home side West Ham. Never the perfect place in which to take a throw in this one, penned right up against the corner flag as Julian Dix is. He gets good length on that. And then nudged inside by Bishop. And the first roar of the afternoon goes up as Tim Breaker sprints down the right-hand touchline, whips the ball in field. Jones unable to control it. That's a good Welsh-sounding name, Jones, but he's in fact the West Ham striker, Steve Jones. And knocked back a little bit lazily there, but Marriott, as sharp as ever, puts the ball away and out of harm's way. Wrexham have reached this stage of the competition with victories over Colwyn Bay and Scunthorpe United. But it was by no means an easy start for them. A 1-1 draw at Colwyn Bay, their local non-league rivals, and then a 2-0 success at the racecourse. And it took two stabs as well to knock out Scunthorpe United. 2-2 the first meeting at the racecourse ground, and 3-2 at Glanford Park. And now here on the attack come Wrexham, and the ball is swept wide, and Chalk tries to knock that one across, and it's gone dead, rather unfortunately. But Martin Chalk has certainly made quite an impression for Wrexham since being involved in a transfer swap deal with Stockport County and Kieran Durkin. Here's Ludik Mikloshko. Almost 7 years now he's been in goal for West Ham. So one of the more successful foreign imports. Much publicity, of course, about the likes of Florin Radichoiu and Ilya Dumitrescu. Marco Bugas. None of those signings really worked out for West Ham. And interestingly today, they've just got the Portuguese player, Hugo Porfirio, on the bench, and Slaven Bilic from Croatia at the centre of their defence. So the throw will be taken by Hardy. So a good name for a fullback who's been such a regular in the Wrexham side over recent seasons. There's nicked forward into space there by Peter Ward. And starting from deep is Carl Connolly. Nice little ball forward there, and a good run made across the heart of the West Ham penalty area. Dix fails to make a contact. Lazaridis loses out to Chalk. And now McGregor with a chance to pop one down the line again for Chalk. Peter Ward, formerly of Huddersfield and Stockport County. And then swung first time across there by Hardy. It really is Wrexham who are taking the game to West Ham, their more illustrious opponents in the early minutes. Made out by Brian Carey and straight against the legs of the opponent, so it will be Wrexham's throw. From Bilic that time, and then Bishop. There's plenty of time here for Mark McGregor, just 19 years of age. He really has settled into that right back position for Wrexham over the last 2 seasons. Bishop reversing the ball for Julian Dix. First time swing of the left boot from Dix, but there's Wrexham central defenders Tony Humes and Brian Carey on top of the job so far. This is Williamson. Rather unusual, Danny Williamson is the only West Ham-born player in the side. Time for Carey to look up and dispatch the ball up to the halfway line. But I think that Brian Flynn will be delighted with the way his side has responded here at Upton Park. It's always important when you've made a long journey to get off to a good start, and Wrexham have certainly done that. Bishop now for West Ham, and Breaker supports, but well, that was rather lax play from Tim Breaker. He'd got the opportunity to move forward, and perhaps a lack of confidence there as he reversed the ball. He was wrestled out of it. And that free kick will have to be taken again. Mr. Lodge unhappy about that. Now Breaker's the recipient. West Ham always do try and play the constructive game, but they're finding victories very elusive at the moment, and they're finding progress a little bit difficult to make here. And Bishop again has to revert the ball to Dix, who thrashed it in, but it was against the ankles of Chalk. And Wrexham getting bodies behind the ball, which they must do. Now it's Dix again, always looks menacing, but had to switch it to his right foot. There's one thing about Julian Dix, he really does epitomise the spirit of a side. Bishop's ball cut out, and referee Lodge said that there's an offside decision anyway. But West Ham's home form really worrying for manager Harry Redknapp. They've won none of their last 4 games, and in fact have been victorious in only one of their last 14. Only 4 wins here all season in the league. But strangely, by one of those quirks of footballing fate, West Ham have done rather better here in cup ties, having beaten Nottingham Forest and Barnet in the Coca-Cola Cup. Switched in field from Hardy. That might be a little too long, however, for Ward this time, and it just gives West Ham the chance to break through the middle. A rather lazy layoff ball there from Jones. And that gives Marriott the chance to put boot to ball. But if Wrexham were expecting to weather an early storm, they've hardly had the bother. West Ham failing so far to impose themselves on the game at all. This is Gareth Owen, Welsh under-21 and B international, and he's switched the play nicely for McGregor. He's got Chalk on the outside, and he may well find him as well. Inch perfect ball for Martin Chalk, and a corner will result for Wrexham, the first of the afternoon. You would expect Wrexham to send up their tall centre-backs here. Brian Carey, the former Leicester player, and Tony Humes, once of Ipswich. Watkin and Connolly too. Their top goal scorers. It looks as though this one is going to be swung in towards Mikloshko, who's got plenty of height on his side at 6'4", but that's too far and straight out, and rather a disappointing corner at the end of all that. Peter Ward very much the dead ball specialist for Wrexham. We've seen better deliveries than that one. Sunlit afternoon at Upton Park, in contrast to the conditions that would have prevailed for the original fixture. And interestingly, 2 of the Wrexham 14 today, Tony Humes and Kevin Russell, wouldn't have been available had the game been played on the original date. So they're probably quite relieved. Russell, one of those on the bench today for Wrexham. Field from Williamson. This is Michael Hughes. Well, again, credit the Welshmen. They're forcing West Ham back. In fact, all the way back to their Czech Republic goalkeeper. Long from Mikloško. Well met by Humes. Then when it breaks, it does so to Owen, and he's rolled a nice and an inviting ball down the touchline here for Steve Watkin. And then it'll be Hardy, slings these crosses in. And West Ham again had to get the bodies there, but they've induced Julian Dix out of defence. Ward still battling for it here. The chances there for McGregor to play the ball across this time, and a dangerous flick off the top of Bilic. And it's cleared in the end by Breaker. Well, there's one thing you can say with certainty, and that is that Wrexham are not overawed here. And they're taking the game to West Ham, and this is Ward. And a good cracking shot. And Mikloško getting down to it. The ball came back off his body, really. It's the real first moment where you felt a goal might have been on. And it was Peter Ward's shot. Hughes now for West Ham as the game just picks up. Williamson involved. Now Bishop. Swings it wide right for Breaker. A little touch in field from him, and Breaker continues his gallop and gets the crossover. Well covered again. Humes and Carey have developed a good understanding at the back for Wrexham this season. And they'll certainly get plenty of encouragement from the bench, from the likes of Joey Jones. Once cost Wrexham £210,000, £10,000 more than keeper Marriott. Lazaridis. I think there was a shout of "skin him" there, a good East End cry from the West Ham fans. But Lazaridis has failed to do that. Good work once more by McGregor. 3,000 Welsh supporters coming and hoping. The victory, of course, would carry Wrexham through to a meeting with Peterborough United in the next round. But in a way, they'd rather play at a place like this. The challenge that much greater. Ward rolls the ball down the touchline. McGregor has chalk outside. And Carey humps it up there into the West Ham penalty area, and Mikloško uses all of his 6'4" frame. And Steve Watkin chasing back. But the ball has still found its way out for Breaker. Hughes, nice little pass from him for Jones. And Steve Jones might get a second bite at the cherry here. And that was an unintentional prodded away, because Jones used to play for Bournemouth, the Cherries. In fact, he played and scored against Wrexham for them last season. But he also was on the end of a fearful hiding at the racecourse ground. Wrexham 5, Bournemouth 0 last March. And Collins got Wrexham moving forward again, and then Chalk rolls that one up there into the area, and there should be a corner out of this for Wrexham. Well, they're winning on corners. Again, Ward will go across. Now, the first corner he took was not one of the best. It's not one you want to remember. So let's see if he can get it right this time. It's going to be a variation. Driven out. Almost too far out. Connolly on the outside of the boot. And then Hughes, who likes to get up in support, gets the cross in. Just too close to Mikloško. Well, Brian Hughes has really been Wrexham's FA Cup hero so far this season. 4 goals in the competition already. 2 two of them against Colwyn Bay. They scored against Scunthorpe as well. Now it's the West Ham break led by Jones. It was a dangerous looking ball, but Brian Carey was almost unchallenged as he headed away there. Dix up to the edge of that area. And Jones, it was a good deliberate header from him, straight out to Lazaridis. Dix joins in again. This is where you always feel there's danger, when Dix is lurking. Oh, and he gets that ball through for Jones. Good chance, and it's spurned. It was nicely taken down by Jones, but as he swung on the shot, he couldn't control it. But he appreciates certainly the ball that was played up to him by Julian Dix. On the line, but straight out from Tim Breaker, who's been here 6 years now at Upton Park. Happily recovered from injuries which really plagued him throughout last season. So here's Phil Hardy, still only 23, Republic of Ireland under-21 skipper. And it will be Hardy again. It'll be a trifle ambitious, that one. Hughes gets underneath his header. Oh, Hardy's hitting a procession of passes up there to the edge of that area. That one just kept away from Watkin though. And then the challenge on Bishop, and it's going to be West Ham's throw-in. West Ham, remember, in the bottom three of the Premier League, just a point behind Nottingham Forest. Wrexham currently holding 10th spot in Division 2. But only 4 points outside the playoff zone. There's Ferdinand. I think that's a familiar name. Well, he is the cousin of the rather better known Les Ferdinand. This is Rio Ferdinand, 18-year-old. So Harry Redknapp pinning his hopes on youth today. And the likes of Ferdinand in there, and Williamson. Young Frank Lampard as well. Nicely flicked on, but it's easily covered by Ferdinand. But I would think the thing that must delight the Wrexham manager Brian Flynn most so far is that West Ham have been restricted to just one chance, one that Jones was unable to take. Chance to apply some pressure. Dix inevitably will be the one who picks the ball up. So there's not much movement. That's an indication of a lack of confidence in a side. Nobody really wanting the ball, and in the end it's forced Dix back towards the halfway line, and then when he plays the ball forward, it's rather haplessly out of play for the goal kick. Julian Dix, West Ham's top goal scorer, 6 this season. And indeed, he was the joint top scorer last season, along with Tony Cottee. A remarkable statistic for a full-back. Not really one that West Ham cherish. And the longer that Wrexham can keep West Ham at bay without conceding anything, the more nervous the crowd will become here at Upton Park. They're not in the best of moods anyway at the moment. Lack of success. Hughes, very left-footed player, but likes coming down the right-hand side of the field. Now he'll knock one across towards Lazaridis. A little nudge from him, and then it's just going to elude Steve Jones. Ferdinand wins applause for his intervention, and it gives Hughes another tilt. And he's found some space for himself, rather magically on the 1 foot. Back from Breaker. Dix being forced back though. Straight through, and Wrexham will be happy to let that go out. And again a move peters out really, and disappointingly for West Ham. All the pressure here on the Premier League side. That's why you get so many cup shocks, really, that some sides just can't cope with pressure. And certainly West Ham will be feeling it much more than Wrexham at the moment. So Connolly comes back and works hard for his side, but now it's picked up. And again, you could hear the groans around the ground with a misplaced pass. And the more of those there are, the more anxious West Ham become. Dick's funneling back. Now, good closing down again. Martin Chalk's done that to good effect on a couple of occasions already. Ferdinand got in. And once more, there's a formidable Welsh barrier posed to Steve Jones. Breaker. One of those the wrong side of 30 in this West Ham side. But he's canted up here into a good position to supply a cross. Tony Humes took it out. So far, Brian Carey and Tony Humes have been equal to everything that West Ham have been able to conjure up. They've looked particularly solid in front of Andy Marriott. He's been well protected. And Wrexham, you get the feeling, are first to the ball on a number of occasions, as they are again there with Carey. Connolly. There's not enough weight on the pass this time, however. Lampard was in there for West Ham, son of a famous name. And the cross doesn't look bad this time. Michael Hughes, not the tallest of fellas though, tries to bundle the ball in wide of Marriott, claims the corner. Michael Hughes, rather short on goals at the moment. He got 3 in the early weeks of the season, but his last one came against Nottingham Forest back in September. But he's forced this corner kick, so some encouragement for the Upton Park faithful, who still not been singing their favourite song. In case anybody doesn't know it, it's I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles, but at the moment they've little to sing about, but they have a second successive corner. And Wrexham pulling just about everybody back there. As you would expect, dangerous ball in, and Dix trying to turn, can't get any purchase on a shot. But again, there were so many white shirts around him that you have to credit Wrexham for the way they combated West Ham at the corner, which looked dangerous for a moment. Just kept in. Hughes again, who won that corner initially. Takes it again from Bilic. Oh, a little dink ball from Michael Hughes though. I think the Wrexham fans enjoyed that more than West Ham's. Michael Hughes, quite a gifted player. Came here originally on loan from Strasbourg, having moved over there from Manchester City. Nicely done. Slipped back again by Owen. West Ham's problem all season has clearly been a shortage of goals. And you can understand why. They still play their pretty football at times, knocking the ball around, but there's nothing on the end of it for them. The football gossip is that they're due to sign maybe Paul Kitson from Newcastle United or Dean Holdsworth from Wimbledon. But they've been bitterly disappointed here at Radichoiu from Romania, and Dumitrescu didn't really produce the goods. And now it's chalk for Wrexham. Rather hopeful ball, knocked down the line, but Watkin tries to get something out of it. Dix again is forced to cross field. That shows what a good job Chalk is doing against him. Mikloshko. Those long balls, though, today have been read perfectly so far by Humes and Carey, who combated everything very efficiently, and Wrexham are playing efficiently too, all over the field. Bilic had such a good Euro 96 with Croatia. Now Williamson, the local boy, that might be just too long. And Marriott showing great presence of mind to dispatch the ball quickly. And Ferdinand was forward. He'll have to get back now. So that rather sums up the way things are going so far this afternoon for West Ham. Stan Lazaridis, a 24-year-old Australian from Perth, not having a happy start to this game against Mark McGregor. Supporters making themselves heard a little bit more, but there's not been a great deal of action in this game yet to enthuse about. There could be now, however. The ball in towards Watkin, and he was stifled because Ferdinand got back, and it's out for a Wrexham corner. But most of the flowing football has in fact come from the second division side, and Steve Watkin in the centre of your picture there, the man who destroyed Arsenal 5 years ago, close to getting in on the end of that move. And a corner results. Again, Ward goes for the outswinger. It was aimed towards Connolly, who'll pick it up now. Very left-footed player, Carl Connolly, but a very effective one. As soon as you say that, he puts the ball straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Mikloshko drives it long. The idea was right to try and get Jones motoring forward, but he's covered by McGregor, who's done excellently again. McGregor looks an outstanding prospect at just 19. And still with less than 50 league games behind him. And there's a much more familiar name, Julian Dix. Smacks it in hard, and it's Hardy who decides that the best place for that ball is in the crowd. And a corner for West Ham. Hardy taking no risks. And there's the signal. Was not a good delivery again, and it continues to be a frustrating exercise for the Premier League side. Down the line, but McGregor plays it just about right and gets the throw. Manfully getting in there just to deny some space for Martin Chalk, but Chalk, to his credit, has kept Dix fairly quiet so far this afternoon. That's part of his job. It's not just as an attacking force. It's all a bit tight down that touchline at the moment. And again, you see Wrexham had the bodies around when they needed them. A lazy swing of the boot by Brian Carey dispatches the ball up towards halfway. Bishop to Bilic, wide for Dix. Hughes is the one scurrying across there to support the move. In towards Jones. And again Wrexham have enough men around just to keep West Ham at bay, and then they hit on the break quite sharply. That's Owen. Hughes rather lunged in at that, and that's a crucial tackle. Wrexham certainly giving as good as they're getting, and here again it's Connolly, and he tries to win the corner out of Ferdinand. An all-round applause for endeavour as much as anything there. Young Rio Ferdinand here, just 18. In for Mark Reaper today. Reaper, who was sent off against Nottingham Forest. He's a good player to be alongside in Slaven Bilic. Marriott here, who's qualified to play for Wales now, although interestingly he did once play for England's under-21 side, but as it was a friendly, that's okay, he can now play for the Welsh team. And here it's Chalk against Dix again. A good long clearance, but it's picked up again by Ward for Wrexham. And Chalk and McGregor trading passes. Well, this is good play from Wrexham, all the way across the line. Then Hughes breaks. He's hit much too sharply, and much too inaccurately as well. Gareth working hard and just starting to fulfil the potential that Wrexham always believed he had. Well controlled by Marriott as Jones went lunging in on him. And certainly Wrexham are attacking with some purpose again now. Chalk is the player on the ball. And Brian Hughes noticeably makes these good driving runs to support at the edge of the area. And there he is now, but it's hooked away from him by Bishop. Wrexham with 4 away wins so far this season. Stockport County, Walsall and Gillingham all beaten on their own grounds in the league, and Scunthorpe in the cup. And this will be Wrexham's throw-in. I would think their 3,000 travelling fans are relatively pleased with the way the game's gone. Always hoping, of course, just to snatch a goal on the break. They've certainly shown that they're capable of doing that. There's a good turn from Connolly. Just didn't work out, but always the loose ball seems to be picked up by Wrexham. They're playing it around with some confidence now. Not over those early few nervous minutes. Carey's ball, then Hughes. Chalk has stationed himself on the touchline. Only 2 there that time. Swept wide by Williamson. Break you feel could make inroads from here. Hughes nearly came a cropper. Did well actually to control the ball there under pressure. Hughes. Dix now. Could be a free kick here for the challenge by Tony Humes on the back of Steve Jones, and this in a position of imminent danger to Wrexham, hence the 6-man wall there. And this the man they always have to fear. Julian Dix has got a venomous left-footed shot, and it will be Dix, and he gets it through and over and wide and into the crowd. Well, Julian Dix has got half a dozen goals this season, one of them against a second division club, Stockport, up at Ainslie Park in the Coca-Cola Cup. And top scorer with 6 for West Ham, 4 of those from the penalty spot though. That in itself tells you the problems that Harry Redknapp's got here. Well, that was nicely done by Jones and whipped across the face of Marriott's goal. Taking it in one, he did really well to get a shot in at all there, Jones. That's Hughes. This is Dix. Up and over halfway, and Jones. Humes has been steadiness personified and knocks that one back again for Marriott's clearance. Up to halfway. Ferdinand and Mikoshko might have chipped the ball up there to halfway and straight to the waiting Harding. Oh, that's a really good turn. Connolly and Watkin both still working hard in the Wrexham cause up front. They've got to try and keep possession for as long as possible, just to thwart West Ham, make life difficult for them. But now it's Bilic going forward. Picks out Lazaridis. Things still not really coming off West Ham, so they look to Hughes to be the inspiration again. Now to break up. Confronted by Hardy. Again, it was a hopeful rather than a measured sort of pass. Here might be something. Lampard with the shot, but it didn't come to anything. The ball finally put out by Brian Carey. So all hands to the pump for the Welshman again. West Ham haven't had too many situations like this. Dix is on the edge of the area. And he swung in again towards Marriott, and it's Tony Humes, I think, who gets his head to the ball. In fact, Humes and Carey went for the same ball there, and Humes came off rather worse than his co-defender. Be a real blow to Brian Flynn to lose a player like Humes. Wrexham skipper says he'll play up. So can West Ham make this one count? So rather longer, and Marriott stumbled, and so it'll be a third consecutive corner. Brian Hughes getting back that time just to deny the opposition. So rather disconcerting moments these for Wrexham, probably the first that they've had. And it's Dix who goes up this time. He won the header fairly, but planted it well wide. And it was with a header that Dix scored against Stockport in the Coca-Cola Cup, but no such fortune against Wrexham. Good header from Williamson. Back. They managed to squeeze the ball away there for Breaker. But based on the play so far, you really wouldn't believe that there were two divisions separating these two club sides. Albeit West Ham 18th in the Premier League and Wrexham 10th in Division 2. It still means there's a match of, 38 sides between the two of them. Breaker nicks that one forward. Humes goes lunging at it, but successfully. He's certainly done his job today. Now Williamson, and with the outside of the boot, he dispatches a lovely ball there for Dix to romp onto. First time into the area. Backed away again. Brian Hughes has done a good job for Wrexham. He's got up to support his two front runners, and he's got back when he's had to do as well. Carey's the one who leaps that time to dispel any danger. Chalk will try and get down the touchline. Now McGregor. And one of the impressive features about Wrexham's play so far has been the way they've retained their shape. But for once they contrived to give the ball away. But Lazaridis overran it. The referee, Mr. Lodge, said that he was nudged into doing that. It wasn't entirely his own fault. So a free kick here against McGregor. Andy Marriott organising things in front of him. And as you can see, Watkin has been joined there by Hughes in that three-man wall. It's the other Hughes, Michael of West Ham, who looks as though he's going to orchestrate this one. And here he is, Michael Hughes. Necked across, and Jones with the header, but it was firm enough, but not strong enough to trouble Marriott. Up again onto the head of Ferdinand. Quite an accomplished performer. Real strength in that shot. Gareth Owen lending support to his attack, and Mikloshko's been relatively untroubled as well. Harding, a nice take. And the give's not bad either. It's straight through there from Watkin. Ward shovels it out there to McGregor, and then Chalk tries to elude the lunging Dix. It spins away for Hughes now. Wrexham's throw-in. And watching all of this, Brian Flynn, the manager, up in the stands, he prefers to sit there as opposed to on the dugout, and I can quite sympathise with that. I never understand why so many managers sit on the touchline where they don't really get an overall view of things. I think Brian Flynn will be very pleased. Passes and it released Breaker. Hughes always there in support. Breaker again, transferring it. But, final shot that comes in. So as Andy Marriott springing into action. Hughes has looked the liveliest of the West Ham players anywhere near the Wrexham goal. But the first time shot there rarely was going to beat a goalkeeper of Marriott's capability. Wrexham have got very close to a half-time break here at 0-0 and very pleased with life. Lazy, and he almost suffered the consequences. Hughes, how did he weave a way through there? That was excellent play. The best bit of football we've seen from anybody in a West Ham shirt. And now Lazaridis struggling to control it under the gaze of McGregor, and Carey knocked it away. Back there for Bishop. Oh, he's taken out, and that must be a free kick. Has to be. I don't think there's any real cause for complaint. And the name of Brian Hughes will go into Mr. Lodge's book. Very little hope of winning the ball in that situation. And it puts his side under a little bit of pressure here just before the interval. There's not been a great deal of imagination so far about West Ham's free kicks though. Bitter. Straight into the crowd. Williamson has got to go back to last February for his last goal, scored against Newcastle United. Seems hard to believe that this West Ham side was beating the likes of Newcastle round about then. 2-0 the score that day. Bilic. Nicely brought down by Breaker. And Hughes, and he's just too far ahead of Jones. But I would think Andy Marriott would settle for a second half like he's had a first half. He's probably only had to make a couple of saves. Bilic was there that time. But it's been a half where chances really have been at a premium. And Dix tangling with the opponent. You do have to say about Julian Dix that he seems to have overcome a very tempestuous reputation. The player has been sent off so many times. He actually went the last 22 games of last season without a single caution. He seems to have carried on that new image this season. Dix who thumps the ball up there. A foul this time, but crossing Lazaridis, claimed by Andy Marriott. And Wrexham have a very good chance of getting to the break all square. And then Brian Flynn and Joey Jones and Kevin Reeves can get them into the dressing room and have a little chat about what's to do in the second half, and maybe even squeeze a victory out of this one. And then there'll be a few headlines for the Sunday papers, but they've some more defending to do now as Carey at full stretch just gets it away. They'll come back now in the way of the Wrexham goal. And here towards Jones, battling with Carey. He won the battle, but there's just no support for Steve Jones at all, and that's why some of the West Ham fans are getting a little edgy. Jones playing a lone hand up front, for West Ham, and he really does need some more support. So the team from North Wales have performed admirably, particularly in defensive guys in this opening 45 minutes. And you can't ask for more than that, and indeed there is the whistle from Mr. Lodge, and Brian Flynn and his Wrexham side will be very pleased indeed with the events of the first 45 minutes. Few chances at either end. West Ham have been easily contained, and that's why the half-time score here at Upton Park is West Ham United 0, Wrexham 0. Fans who've made the journey south delighted so far with the events of the afternoon. They'd no doubt like the bonus of a goal as well. But it seems a long time since they were originally down here for the postponed fixture. And if Wrexham can perform as admirably in the second half as they did in the first, they'll be pleased. Now then, a change here, and West Ham have brought on their Portuguese international Hugo Porfirio, who really came of age during Euro 96. He was unheard of before those championships. It came into feature in a good Portuguese side, which many felt should have gone further than it did. There's Carey winning the first header of the half. And Carey and Humes have been really imposing for Wrexham throughout this game. Here's Andy Marriott, the 26-year-old Wrexham keeper who's been almost redundant at times throughout this game. Well, credit to Humes and Carey and McGregor and Hardy for that. And they come forward now to create something for Hughes. There might be a chance for Chalk here. And he rattles in the shot, but Mikloško is a big fellow and he stood tall there to make the save from Martin Chalk. But early promise there from Wrexham. We'll come again now with Watkin. With Hughes again, who was at the fulcrum of that last move. Phil Hardy joins in and keeps on running. And he's still involved in that move. It really would be a collector's item if Phil Hardy scored. He's never found the net in over 300 appearances for Wrexham. Something you probably won't thank me for reminding him about. Imagine the celebrations when he does score. Porfirio for the first time. And Jones unable to turn his man, and it's come free for Jones here, in with a real chance just for a moment there. He didn't seem to believe in himself, and he had a right perhaps not to do, because the chance that presented itself to him he could hardly have expected. This is better from West Ham, and Porfirio's replaced Lazaridis in this half. Sterling work from Breaker, but the cross maybe just a little too long. Michael Hughes. Swung in too close to Marriott, and although those West Ham fans claimed that Marriott had his foot behind the line, it was a goal kick. Slaven Bilic there, the defender from Croatia, is scoring against Liverpool and Sunderland and Barnet this season. That's of course in the Coca-Cola Cup. Stabbed away by Mikloško. Breaker. Looks up, there's not a lot of movement ahead of him. And Williamson is balked, and fairly balked too, by the hard-working Watkin. Two ricochets there, both favoured West Ham, and it's Williamson who's picked it up for them. Tries to thread this one in for Jones, into the area he goes. And between them, Carey and Hughes managed to come to the rescue of Wrexham. Hughes had to put that one out for the corner. But he really has impressed today, Brian Hughes, both in supporting and linking and in defending. Hughes with the corner for West Ham. They need a goal badly, just to settle their fans, if not themselves. And it's a dangerous looking ball, and it was Bilic's header. He came to meet it, and Andy Marriott has his claws on the ball, and gratefully so. Bilic enjoyed the corner kick from Hughes, but a good stop there from Andy Marriott. Coming to life a little at the start of this second half, which is not what Wrexham want in a way. They want to stifle West Ham, keep the crowd quiet. Breaker now, wants to get it on the outside of Hardy, and again the fullbacks there in the right position at the right time. And Connolly's layoff met by Watkin. It looked as though it had to be a free kick. It wasn't. That is. By Lampard, 18-year-old son of a very famous father, Redknapp's assistant, Frank Lampard. And in fact, young Frank played against Wrexham last season while he was enjoying a loan spell at Swansea City. He didn't enjoy the result, they lost 1-0. Now then, Wrexham's free kick, and it was knocked in by Ward. West Ham struggled to combat it, and the ball is going to be played in again here. Just ahead of Hughes though, and Klosko as vociferous as ever. Much movement ahead of him, and he did well to find Hughes. The inside ball is for Porfirio. Well, it was Hugo Porfirio who scored at the racecourse with an intuitive effort, and he's not afraid to have a go from distance. It's still 0-0. Fans are exercising their throats. Well, they do that if they win. You can bet that they will. And here it's got to be flicked away again. Hughes intervening as Marriott came to claim the ball. Hughes wasn't willing to take the risk. A much livelier start to the second half. Hughes with the West Ham corner. It's the second already this half. The last one found the head of Slaven Bilic, and Bilic is one of those up there again for it, and it's over the top this time. So rather disconcertingly for Brian Flynn's side, the likes of Dix and Bilic are winning things in the air at set pieces. And Julian Dix, always a thorn in an opposition side because he gets up so well and he puts so much power into his headers. 66 goals throughout his career, Julian Dix, which is not bad for a defender. Good flick on, and Chalk against Dix, who wins. That gives the ball away straight away to Ward. Connolly has fed it out to Chalk again, and Dix has beaten him again. McGregor this time. Chalk will take on the intimidating Dix once more. And McGregor gets around the outside this time, takes the ball back from Chalk. Good running from McGregor. Fair enough challenge, however, from Bilic. It's a good spell of pressure this from Wrexham. We do have 4 survivors from the team that played here 5 years ago. Carl Connolly, Phil Hardy, Steve Watkin and Gareth Owen all played that day, and they'll all be dropping back here now as Breaker attacks Wrexham and gets the ball in towards Jones. Taken down by Hughes. A little bit of nonsense there, but nothing more than that between Hughes and Chalk. We've got 1 or 2 supporters rather agitated. Porfirio. A lovely piece of skill from the Portuguese player Porfirio, and the ball back is for Bishop. He sends it raining into the fans behind the goal. He's only struck the net once so far this season, Ian Bishop. A 1-1 draw with Derby in November. Not a prolific player, Ian Bishop. He has been throughout his career. West Ham suddenly have had 2 or 3 attempts on goal, which they certainly didn't manage to muster in the first half. No foul given, and Watkin goes on, and here is Chalk, and right across the face of the West Ham goal. It merely needed a touch. And Martin Chalk took the right option there in driving this ball across the face of the West Ham goal. Watkin had bundled his opponent off the ball, and then Chalk whisked it across there. It's not often everybody gets the better of Julian Dix like that, but Steve Watkin had done, and that's as close as Wrexham have come. I saw a few arms going up down on the Wrexham bench there, including the coach driver, Dave Clayton, the Bobby Nutt lookalike. At least he got the team here. Here's Bishop again! That's a terrific try from Bishop. I'm just saying he doesn't get many goals, but it doesn't mean he can't hit the ball. And he gives this one a fearful thump, and it just skies over the top of the Wrexham bar. Urgency about West Ham all of a sudden, and these are dangerous moments for Wrexham. It's an important phase of the game as the ball is knocked inside. Williamson was involved. Dix now has found a way forward. It comes back off Carey. Now it's Hughes, and again the tempo is raised, and again Wrexham and Carey cope with it. And there really have been some outstanding performances for Wrexham, especially in defence today, by Brian Carey and Tony Humes. And now they try and transfer the ball quickly up to Carl Connolly. There's more pep about the game at the moment. It's a 1-1 draw, of course, at the racecourse ground in dreadful conditions. Certainly Harry Redknapp believed that the game should not have been played that day, but it was. It ended 1 apiece. Now Wrexham have their opportunity here at Upton Park to show that they were the opponents for the Premier League side. Williamson, infield for Bilic, just got it away from the opponent. They continue moving forward with Porfirio. Trying the ball forward again from Bilic. Dangerously knocked back there by Chalk. When it comes to the opposite number 7, Bishop. This is much better from West Ham. It's the best phase of football they've produced so far in the game. But Hughes is beaten away. And always the danger is there that Wrexham will come as they do now with Carl Connolly. And he tries to slip the ball in for McGregor. Instead of which it's Bilic for West Ham. He drives it long. Porfirio now, straight into the arms of Marriott. Darrington gratefully. But certainly the arrival of Hugo Porfirio into this match has added impetus to West Ham's attack. He's certainly doing rather better than Lazaridis did down that left touchline. Lampard. Hughes finally knocks it forward for Porfirio. They're knocking the ball around convincingly, but they've not actually made much ground yet, West Ham here, but Dix does now. Porfirio turning inside the opponent, that's where he's good, down he goes, and sort of muted appeals there. More support at the moment from the West Ham fans, who sense that their side might get something now. Porfirio whips it across. It was missed first of all by Hughes, and then it's driven upfield Wrexham just hanging on in the last few minutes. We saw that Bilic header saved by Marriott, and Dix put another one over the top. Porfirio had a shot, and suddenly West Ham are finding opportunities. Lampard to Breaker this time. Ferdinand. Kloschko's approaching his 350th appearance for West Ham. He really has been an outstanding servant to the club. He's coming here from Baník Ostrava. Not a bad ball, but Carey was equal to it. Back from Watkin. Nicely played down the line, and Connolly will get there first, and he'll get around Ferdinand as well. Carl Connolly really attacking the West Ham defence, getting the ball across here, and it's had to be put out of harm's way by Bishop, with Chalk steaming in behind him. So a Wrexham corner, and they continue to acquit themselves well. And you can hear the chants of Wrexham, Wrexham, Wrexham from those supporters who've travelled south, and they were enjoying their day out in East London. Wrexham's corner, driven in high. Carey got his head to it, and it's kept out on the line by Mikloshko. Well, Tony Humes had stolen forward there in support of his attack, and when the ball was knocked forward initially by Carey, he was there to pounce at the far post. In fact, it wasn't Humes, he was one of those in there for it. It may well have been Owen. Whatever, West Ham survived, and it is still 0-0 and all to play for. That's a better ball, and Jones is into that area. Has to take it away though from Humes' challenge. Rolled in invitingly, and once more some excellent defending by Wrexham. Appeal for a handball there against Humes, who was running back towards his own goalkeeper. I don't know whether Mr. Lodge had a view of that, but certainly his assistants did, and nothing was forthcoming for West Ham. And indeed, it's Wrexham in there again now, and it's Dix who cuts that one out as Connolly was homing in on goal. Carey. Nicely done. Hughes this time. Wrexham have managed to retain possession well at crucial periods of this game. Ward, who drills it forward now into the area. Ferdinand's covering, and a throw in for Welshman. And don't forget that Wrexham have on the bench this afternoon Kevin Russell, otherwise known as Rooster, who could be called upon. And Barry Jones, the former Liverpool player, and Steve Morris. He's got a couple of FA Cup goals this season already. Connolly tried to turn inside Dix, just whisked the ball away from him. And knocks it up to halfway. And Jones came off second best again, so this is Brian Hughes out to Martin Chalk, and this time he has got around Dix, and Chalk will look to measure the cross this time. And it's not a bad looking one either, and there might be something here for Watkin. Tries to knock it down, and then Owen, in battling for it, puts the ball out, and it will be a goal. Owen. Wood. Oh, nicely played into the path of Watkin. He'll go for the shot maybe here. It's Bishop who covers. Did well there, Ian Bishop, because it looked for a moment as though Watkin had the opportunity to get a shot in on goal. Attack strangled. Dix hasn't been able to play a fruitful ball forward. It falls now simply because Jones has closed the opponent down, and it's a throw-in. And Marriott will set Wrexham going down the left with Hardy. Hardy to Humes. Humes to Ward. Down the line from McGregor to Chalk, who tries a different route. Good turn by Connolly. He really does beaver away, and that's slipped in field towards Chalk. Dixon got his body in the way of Martin Chalk anyway, as Miklosko picked it up, and that's a huge punt from Miklosko, and a very good response at the other end from Marriott. Hughes was bearing down on him. Chalk has had quite an influence in this second half, but as Hughes failed to get there, Bishop did, and so Dix sends breakers sallying forth down the right. You can sense the frustration again there as Tim Breaker's ball was easily picked out. And the crowd are just getting a little rattled. This home form of West Ham's worrying them. They've been beaten here 5 times already this season. Connolly, but straight through to Miklosko. 35 now, the West Ham goalkeeper. He's a young man compared with the substitute goalkeeper, Les Seeley, who's 39. And even that's young compared with Peter Shilton, who was here at the start of the season. Dix for West Ham. Still West Ham 0, Wrexham 0. And the longer the game goes, the more that Wrexham will feel they could snatch a taste of cup glory here. Breasted down for Watkin. He's got Connolly on his right and Chalk, who's come in from the right wing position. Ian Bishop now. Hughes. Nicely done. Porfirio, and he'll attack on his left, and he's around Carey and whips that one across, and it was Hardy who'd come there to get in a clearing header and to release Owen. And it looked dangerous for there when Porfirio got around Carey, but West Ham continue to fail to get bodies up in support of their wide players. There's a dangerous ball in from Chalk, taken by Miklosko. Bilic. He's hit it too hard for the liking of Porfirio. And the West Ham bench incidental today, Welsh international Mark Bowen from Leith, from the Norwich City player. He's their only other option really now, Les Seeley being the other substitute, and the goalkeeper of course. Dix intervened positively there and played it straight to Breaker. So again, it's a rather haphazard delivery from Tim Breaker. Andy Marriott continues to be untroubled. Hardy with the throw for Wrexham. I scarcely thought when they were playing a 1-1 draw with Colwyn Bay that they'd be coming to Upton Park this season. And that really is the beauty of the FA Cup, and continually the smaller clubs continue to embarrass the bigger ones. And there are going to be cup shocks around the country today. A lovely take from Porfirio. He's got that superb left foot and he drills it forward, and again Marriott reacts instinctively. You just wonder where any inspiration for West Ham is going to come from at the moment. This is Danny Williamson. Now Dix. He continues to knock the ball around, but they're still frustrating their own supporters by creating few opportunities. There was almost one there for Williamson. And it's Humes who's gone down. I think he just got his body in the way. He might well have had a part of the anatomy struck that he won't want to talk about. Ferdinand. To put the ball out. And Tony Humes does appear certainly to be in some discomfort. The Wrexham physio is Mel Pedgick. And of course of Mike Pedgick, the former Stoke City and England fullback. Mel himself played at Hereford for such a long time, and Wrexham. Yes, I thought so. I might be speaking with a squeaky voice tonight. Anyway, he did the job. He got in the way of the attacker. And gradually he'll come round. We know the feeling. He has to go off momentarily. Even he sees the funny side of it. I've no doubt there was some wisecrack from the crowd there, which I will not repeat. Wrexham continue to feed the ball into Martin Chalk, and Julian Dix hacks it away. Wrexham really have been first to the ball on so many occasions. Now they've got some work to do in defence. Jones attacking down the left touchline. He went for the shot in the end. I think his options had closed down, and Andy Marriott certainly equal to that. Steve Jones without a goal since his return from Bournemouth to West Ham, his original club. Hit long. Watkin pulls away again. And Wrexham only too happy to slow things down, of course. Owen. It was well brought away by Breaker, and I'm afraid that challenge by Humes on Porfirio would lead him into the referee's book. I think so. Mr. Lodge reaches for the pocket, drops the pencil. But the name of Tony Humes will be registered here. No great complaint from the skipper. He's involved in just about everything that's going on out there at the moment. Gnawing away at the mind of Harry Redknapp and his supporters will be this current record of just one win in 14. And the longer the game goes, the more West Ham are getting nervous, and Wrexham nearly got in there too. Watkins got 8 goals this season, Conley's got 9. And if they could get one today, that would probably be the most famous goal of the season for them. There's Peter Ward. They've worked an opening nicely for Owen. And the ball is rolled by him, and a cracking try from McGregor. He's only ever scored once, Mark McGregor, that in a 1-1 draw at Hull City in November of last season. It was a pretty good try. I think on goal chances throughout the match, Wrexham are just about equal with West Ham. Porfirio. He brought it down well, but then in seeking to play Hughes in, he presented the ball to the opposition, which is what Wrexham do for a change. That was Dix. There is Hughes. Now Williamson. He's a gifted young player, but he's not really been able to impose himself on today's game. And there have been one or two personal little battles going on out there, and generally Wrexham have come out on top in them. Ward now, their influential midfield man, to Hughes. The one who scored against West Ham back on the 4th of January. 1-1 draw. It's a Wrexham throw-in. It's a great experience today for the younger players, like the 19-year-old McGregor and Hughes. He's just 20. So, in fact, Gareth Owen is going off now with quarter of an hour left, and on comes Rooster Russell. Kevin Russell, one of the great servants to the game in many ways. One of the wanderers. He's had so many clubs. There's a push there, but the referee says that the shove on Watkin is not bad enough for a penalty to be given. Talking about Kevin Russell there, he's had 11 different clubs, 2 spells at Wrexham. Journeyman is the phrase that usually comes to mind for that sort of a player, but he's got goals throughout his career. Wrexham could use one now. 0-0 it is though inside this last quarter at Upton Park. Breaker in for Bishop. Not a bad ball that time. Well played again in defence by Hughes. He really has been outstanding, and here goes Russell for the first time. Easily identifiable. I don't need to tell you why. Well read by Carey. And since he's returned to the club, he was on loan to Wrexham from Leicester before. Carey has been a highly polished defender. Julian Dix this time. He says a really long pass, but Hughes, he does really well to keep that in play. The ball looked to be the winner there, and Hughes has twisted and turned and delivered, and it was just beyond Porfirio. They might keep the momentum going. This is Bilic, wide of Russell for the supporting Breaker, and his cross looks dangerous too, and McGregor says, let's have that in the crowd. But that was all down to the tenacity really of Michael Hughes, who would not give it up as a lost cause when he chased the ball from Julian Dix, and gradually as the move developed it enabled Breaker to get that cross in, and McGregor conceded this corner. West Ham seeking a breakthrough. Hughes has taken not exactly a stream of corners, but certainly 2 or 3 which, I'm just going to say, which Bilic and Dix have met before, and Dix met that one and made a bit of a hash of it. And it's released chalk for Wrexham here. Men in white shirts desperately trying to get forward in support of Martin Chalk. And down he goes in a heap under the challenge of Dix. The West Ham fans enjoyed that, even if Martin Chalk didn't. And it's a hammer's throw. Taken by the hammer of the year, Julian Dix. Costco takes his time and then hit the head of Watkin with the clearance. And there might be something there for Ward. And a fresh air shot from him. But really, Mikloshko played West Ham into difficulties he didn't need. And forward goes Brian Hughes this time. He's done really well. Hughes was looking to be a cup hero again. Ward will hit the shot and it flies over the top. Peter Ward, one goal, and that was at Crewe in September, so he really is due for a score at the moment. So 1-1 at the racecourse ground, 0-0 here. Who would believe that 2 divisions separate West Ham United from Wrexham? And Russell is forward again for them. Useful to bring on Kevin Russell for all his experience. There he is once again. Featured in this move 3 times already, and a free kick here for the Welshman. But, 2 sides facing the prospect of extra time. Again Ward. This free kick, and he moves away from the ball now, but I think it's just to take some instruction from Connolly. He's got Russell wide on his left, but he chipped it into the area, and it was Julian Dix who headed the ball away. 0-0 the scoreline at Upton Park, and the West Ham fans who've had so many disappointments in recent weeks might be even beginning to fear the worst, especially after that Coca-Cola exit, rather ignominious one at Edgeley Park against Stockport. West Ham have actually been ahead, and Stockport came from behind to eliminate them 2-1. Again you hear the 3,000 Wrexham fans singing in support of their side, who've done them proud, as I think they always knew they would. And what a fine job Brian Flynn's done as the manager of Wrexham, just proving again that there's no substitute for stability in this game of football. And Brian Flynn, over the last few years, has really forged a good side, capable certainly of holding their own in a game like this one. Just got to get that consistency translated into their league form. But here they have to defend against Michael Hughes, one of West Ham's better performers. And even he again is going round in circles. So many white shirts presented ahead of him. Finally transfers it for Dix. At the end of all that, it was just an optimistic ball that Dix knocked in there. Nothing tangible resulted from that, and here goes Russell for Wrexham. I don't think Bilic is complaining too much about the shoulder charge from Steve Watkin, though. Steve Watkin, Wrexham born. Just like the one player Williamson. West Ham ball on the opposition, and here come West Ham now. Lampard forced wide. It gets the cross in, but sails over the top of Marriott's bar. And more disappointment heaped upon West Ham and their fans. And we are inching closer and closer to extra time. Harder this time. He's always enjoyed his visits to Upton Park, obviously. 5 years ago it ended 2-2, and we're locked together again at 0-0 today. Ferdinand, and now Bilic for West Ham, still seeking a way through this Wrexham maze. And again you have to say that Andy Marriott in goal has been so well protected, but now Breaker's on the charge, and the ball across, sliced away off the outside of the boot. Chalk just manages to keep it in, but only succeeds in presenting the ball back to Dix. Furio lost it. Connolly can run it out for Wrexham. Can he hurt them from here? He's got between the two, and down he goes in a heap, and the Wrexham fans booing and calling for Bilic to be booked, certainly. He's saying no red card, but he's certainly going to have a yellow card, is Slaven Bilic. The Wrexham fans thought that Carl Connolly was carving a route to goal there, and that Bilic should have been shown a red card. A yellow sufficed for referee Lodge. So, is this an opportunity for Wrexham to steal what would be a famous victory? It's floated in, and it's just about taken care of, but here is Ward again. Wrexham will aim to keep the momentum there with Hardy's ball in here. Connolly couldn't get there. Well, Connolly did get there, but the shot was not the best. 9 goals this season, one of them in the 2-0 cup victory over Colwyn Bay. I think he'd rather score against West Ham United. And then at the end of the day, they're all of equal merit and value. Hughes. And Wrexham, if anything, are finishing the game the stronger of the two sides. Here goes Russell. Can he keep this in? They claim the corner. And I think those Wrexham fans are getting some of the West Ham players a little irate now. It was a goal kick. The Village thought that they would try to obviously influence the referee, which they were. That's what supporters are there for. Breaker. It's a decent long ball, and Carey, almost his first slip, but he makes up for it very quickly by beating Jones away. Porfirio on that favoured left foot. Swings it wide for Hughes. Back in field, Dix. That could have gone anywhere. Bishop lets fly. Stabbed out again. Once more it's Bishop who picks it up. Concerted finale from West Ham. Breaker's ball in. Dangerous. Porfirio wants it on his left foot. Maybe he'd have been better advised to hit it first time with the right. I'm sure Brian Flynn said to his side that what they picked up from the first meeting was that Wrexham were capable of beating West Ham. They certainly didn't have to fear them, and they've shown no fear in coming here to Upton Park. But there's still time for either side to clinch this one. Porfirio, Jones! And again they batten down the hatches and keep him out. Ferdinand is forward now. It really is getting rather desperate. But it's 0-0 still. Porfirio. Hughes. Bishop's going on his outside on a decoy run. The ball is knocked up there. And once again, I think the referee saw that as a dangerous kick. Brian Carey managed to get his head to the ball anyway, but Steve Jones had gone for the acrobatics and was punished. Nobody would bet on the outcome in extra time, because Wrexham have proved themselves very equal to the occasion. As I was saying, Brian Flynn said that they had nothing to fear. He's had a low-key approach to this game though. Not promised anything before the game. Told his team to relax really and just go out there and do their utmost, be organised, and that's exactly what they have been. There have been outstanding performances at the heart of defence from Brian Carey and Tony Hughes. Brian Hughes has worked tirelessly in midfield. Chalk's given them an outlet down the right. Now all they need is a goal. And they have more defending to do against this throw-in from Breaker. It's Ferdinand's ball up there, but once again, Wrexham bring it clear. Hughes got across and was then balked by his own colleague Porfirio. And that's just the sort of incident that really frustrates the home fans. Kevin Russell this time. Looking up to survey the scene. Besides, there's nothing on in terms of a shot, so supplies McGregor. To the hole, and again that's Hughes there, does really well once again, Brian Hughes. While the Wrexham fans are the ones making the most noise. We've heard a single rendition of I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles from the West Ham fans, and now it's Chalk. And there's Watkin, and he might tee it up here for Russell, and Kevin Russell may have won the day for Wrexham. What a finale! And Russell, Kevin Rooster Russell, goes to celebrate with those joyful Welshmen, and it's unbelievable this, because in the 90th minute Wrexham may well have knocked West Ham out of the FA Cup. It was Chalk, it was Watkin, and more importantly it was Kevin Russell, and it flew past Mikloshko, and Wrexham lead. And Kevin Russell has only ever scored one FA Cup goal throughout a 15-year career. That was for Bournemouth, and what a time for him to score now. It could be the most famous victory in Wrexham history, this. They once knocked West Ham out before at the racecourse ground. They of course knocked Arsenal out 5 years ago, but those were in home matches. This time they've come to London to take on the might of West Ham, but it's not over yet. Dix with the ball in there. And flick through to Marriott. And they are singing their songs at the other end of the ground, and who can blame them? They've got a journey home to savour if they hold on to this one-goal lead, and there are only seconds for them to do that now. Right from the coach driver Dave Clayton, who we mentioned earlier, to Joey Jones, Ryan Flynn, Kevin Reeves, Mel Pejic. They all want to hear that final whistle now. And there are so many heroes out there in white shirts, and this would not go down as a fluky victory by any year sense. They've stifled West Ham largely. It's going to be hooked away surely here. Jones is in there for it, and you can see the desperation on West Ham's faces now. Knocked out of the Coca-Cola Cup by second division Stockport County, and now on the verge of a defeat against another second division side, Wrexham. But corner for West Ham. Bilic is one of those in for it. Marriott has the ball. And really, it's been a low-key affair in so many ways, and credit to Wrexham for that. But they sent a famous victory. It's within their sights now. And they come towards that finishing line on the attack again. Dix, whatever West Ham do now, they have to do quickly. Mikloshko can only belt it up towards halfway. And here's the hero of the moment, Kevin Russell. In fact, his last goal was in a 5-0 win against Hull City last April. So his first goal of the season. What a time and what a match in which to score it. And the great irony is that Russell would not have been able to play had the replay been staged on the originally intended date. He was injured. But he's come on here as a substitute for Gareth Owen, and looks like being the hero of the hour. West Ham 0, Wrexham 1, and Carl Connolly will keep the ball up in that corner for as long as he has to do. And they're getting ready to celebrate, and West Ham's fans must be distraught at the way this season is turning out. Watkin tussles for it with Ferdinand. West Ham in the bottom three of the Premier League, out of the Coca-Cola Cup and out of the FA Cup, because Wrexham have come down from North Wales to inflict upon them one of their most famous victories. And it's Kevin Russell, the striker who has played for 11 different clubs and scores only the second FA Cup goal of his career, his first ever for Wrexham, and he really will go down in history as a super sub, as Wrexham celebrate with their gleeful supporters. And Brian Flynn will be dashing down to the dressing room to congratulate every one of those players. They have been heroes. And this goes down as a quite wonderful day in the history of Wrexham Football Club. They've come to London and they've knocked West Ham United out of the FA Cup. West Ham United 0, Wrexham 1.